So this is the wonderful story of how my BMW, this very machine right here, almost broke me financially when I was 20 years old. It's completely irrelated from business, money stuff. So if you came here for that, if you're used to the channel, seen those videos, this is not the one for you. This is more very life related. I want to make car style content too. Man, let's just jump right into it. I bought this thing for just over 10,000 Canadian all in. This was back in 2018. It obviously has hit its depreciation curve well before then. So I was like, you know what? My buddy and my mom also had E90 BMWs. And from what I heard, they were pretty decent maintenance wise, as long as you took care of them. But when I went to the dealership, my dad was there to co-sign for me. He did not put a single penny up for this car. I paid for it completely out of, complete out of pocket, completely out of hand, all my own, hard-earned money after working in sales for a couple of months. And I was like, you know what? I want this car. I've wanted this car for so damn long. And I wasn't even 20 years old. My birthday would have been July. So no, I was literally 19 when I got this car. And I didn't do a PPI. The salesman was great. I bought it from BMW Toronto. It was awesome. There's no issues there, but it was just a very funny scenario. Everything was great. On the ride home, it was perfect. We take delivery. Everything's awesome. And I park it. I was admiring this thing. It was crazy. I was admiring this whole damn thing for the weekend. I would literally go out at like midnight, 3 a.m. And then Sunday I went out again to look at this, to be like, this thing is mine in the driveway. Like, this is my fucking vehicle. It was so sick to say. Like, I finally have my own car. That's my first car, right? So it was awesome. And Monday morning rolls around. It's sunny out. It's awesome. Like, I'll get to find it because I didn't drive it all weekend. I literally just stared at it. They had just freshly detailed it. So I'm like, I want to take a lot of pictures. I just want to look at it and like soak it all in. It was really cool for me, even though it's like nothing. Like even the amount, like 10 grand. It's like that's pretty average for first car. And I go to start it up, and right here it's flashing check engine, which means shut everything the fuck off. Like, that's a big problem. Car is super shaky. It fires it's hard to explain, but it's a logo basically with a BMW on a lift. So it's basically saying service ASAP. And it wasn't telling me what was wrong. I didn't have an OBD reader, so I couldn't, pull a code and be like, oh, well, it's going to be this. It's like, dude, what the fuck? Like, and I just kind of panic a little bit. I was very, I wouldn't say emotionally unstable, but I was like kind of freaking out. I was like, what is going on? What the fuck? I just bought this thing. And I call my dad first thing. He's like, okay, what is it doing? What does it sound like? What does it look like? Like, is anything like, no smokes, no. I'm like, no, it's not that bad, but I could feel the car like rumbling, shaking, and then I shut it off and I turned it back on, and it was fine. And I was like, okay, that clearly shouldn't have happened, but I need to get to work. Like, I was already kind of on my way to work. I was a little bit delayed already, so I was like, dude, I gotta go. He's like, okay, just go to work and we'll handle it later. Just park it. And I remember, side story, I freaking parked on the street. In our office, you had to go into a back parking lot, and I just parked on the street because I was so late. And I was like, dude, I don't have the extra 2 minutes to walk. I have to just go right now. And I got a fucking parking ticket that day of all days too. So that was funny. And I call the guy from BMW. He's like, we will handle this completely, no questions asked. He personally came out to my house. He's from Toronto, over an hour and a half away. And he used his own CAA membership personally to get this car lifted. It was great. It was no experience, or no perfect experience, no problems there. But it turned out to be something, I don't remember what it was. Maybe I'll pull up like the service records or the service codes if I can find them, and try to explain this further. But it was just so strange. So we got that handled right away. But where I came in was a month later, maybe even less than that, 3 weeks later. I go up to start my car again in the morning on the way to work, and it really, like, something clicks. Something like almost completely moves out of place, and it sounds like it just completely like clicked off the engine or something. I'm like, what the fuck was that? And then check engine hit. I'm like, oh my god, dude. And I was like pretty paranoid. I didn't understand, like, this check engine right here, that's for my catalytic converters, because I have a muffler delete on this car to make it the exhaust ladder. So that's fine, but back then I was like, oh my god, what the hell could that be? What could that be? And it turned out to be an eccentric shaft system, which was an $850 service plus labor plus all that, which back then, dude, I had like $4 or $5 grand to my name after putting a down payment on this thing, after having other monthly expenses. Luckily, I didn't have much, but because I was a good saver, but I was like, holy shit, $850 in my first month of owning this? What the fuck? And then, dude, it was like, it didn't, you know, completely, it wasn't like I was going bankrupt or anything, but it was a financial hit. I'll maybe try and throw up the my bank statement screenshot if I still have that, because I saw that leave the account. I was like, oh my God, dude, I'm just trying to save everything as I can at this point in this fucking thing. But it was such a fun car, dude. I'm gonna do a separate video on why I think the E90, if purchased correctly and properly, is the perfect first car, still to this day, not only for money wise, but just the fun that you can have in this thing. And the E90 platform in of itself, or the N52, you know, engine, is just like, it is great if you know how to take care of it. If you take care of it, it will take care of you. I had another issue, which was a $2,500, these are all Canadian numbers, by the way. I had a $2,500 service in 2019, so I bought the car in 2018. There was some other general maintenance stuff in 2019. I go to floor it, and a ton, I see in my rear view, a ton of blue smoke, just complete, like, I mean, fucking like from an Avengers movie or something. Like, I mean, like 20, 30 foot, 40 foot high smoke clouds. And I'm like, what in the fuck was that? And I see it coming through my rearview mirror, and it obviously came from my exhaust, and it was all like clumpy. The car was like really, really jerky, and then it finally cut on. I'm like, what the fuck was that? Obviously, it was a whole multitude of issues. We'll get into that in a second, but it was like a coolant leak and some other shit. This Volkswagen, like GTI something Golf, blasts through the cloud of smoke, and he's like, dude, I think that was you back there. I'm like, no, I know, man, I know, I'm really sorry. He's like, don't worry about it, but you need to get that shit fixed. I know what that issue is. And he was telling me, he's like, the coolant and some other stuff that could have been, dude, it was like, I was like, oh my God. And at this point, I think I had like 20, maybe 30 grand in my name. So I was like, okay, but it was still, I couldn't diagnose the issue. I actually went to a first shop, a local shop, and they didn't know what the fuck was going on. They're like, dude, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to take this to BMW. I have no idea what this is. We've never seen a code like this before. We've never seen an issue like this before, especially in a BMW. You're gonna have to take care of it yourself. And I was like, okay. And they still charged me for a freaking assessment, of course, so that was great. But I took it to BMW, and they're like, yeah, this is like not good. They took it on a test drive, and I remember the service advisor being like, oh my God, because we told, like, when they do this, right, anyone who's in the automotive space, from what I understand, I've never worked at a shop, but they like punch it hard to like really test things. Like, if your car's making a sound, they're gonna fucking go maybe not top speed, but they're gonna go fast to understand and diagnose as best as they can, and be like, okay, if it kicks in at this speed, then it's this. If it kicks in at this, then it's Y, you know, that kind of thing. So that was a whole thing, man. And dude, $2,500, even at that time, even now, it's like, if I got a $2,500 service, it's like, goddamn, $2,500 service for anything. But ever since then, I've been like, I think it's because I didn't drive this car hard enough. If I'm being completely frank, I think it's because I was doing like city miles. I never went on the highway because I was too scared. It's very cheap with gas, so I never drove it far. But now, ever since I like really stretch this thing, I really push this thing, like, I beat the living shit out of this car, dude. And that's one of my talking points for why this is such a good car. But man, like, just a funny little side story. So again, I don't want to ramble on too much, but if you enjoyed this video, as always, if you made it this far, I want to see you win. I hope you got some value. I hope you understand and resonate with my BMW horror stories. If anyone else has any horror stories with cars, you know, in the beginning at least, tell me. I'm really, really curious, because I don't really know anyone who had it as bad as I did. I've spent a good chunk of money on this car in those years, like 2019, 2018, but now, dude, it's pretty smooth sailing. You keep up with maintenance, like I said, you're gonna be fine, and it's just funny how that all works. So appreciate you viewing this video. Subscribe if you enjoyed, and we will see you in the next one.